So if we look at the Employment Act, Cap 226, this is the Employment Act 31, it states the requirement for providing housing to your employees. So in simple language, I would say these are your options. You either provide housing, which means an actual house at or near the place of employment, or you pay cash above the other salary elements, sufficient for reasonable housing. Sometimes this may actually exceed the 15% that people normally do, but 15% seems to be acceptable. The other option is to add a provision in the employment contract that states that the basic salary includes an element for rent. One way you can do this in PayslipMaker is just add this comment on the basic salary line. So you could take that and add it here. I think this would be adequate. And in addition, probably add the same in the person's contract. So that's one way to do it. Another way you can do it is we come to the input tools. We say, so you've already put in your basic salary. What we are trying to do now is adjust it. So if we come and say housing from basic, it takes the salary that you have in the payroll and it puts it in a sheet. Now these two do the same thing. One is with rounding and the one is without rounding. So if we use this without rounding, what it will do is it will actually take out 15% from the salary and leave you this. Then you can add an auto transaction. The other way you can do it is to split it like this. It changes the housing allowance. Pay type to fixed, and then it adds housing at 15%. Let's do that. So if I say yes, let's go back there. It has done this. What it did, this line didn't exist. So that now adds in addition. Now, if you don't want that, let's take this, because that has assumed that the 15,000 is on top of the salary. If that is not what you want, we can take this out. Housing. Let's remove that. The other option it gives you is to split it. So if we split it, remove housing from basic. So it say yes. So now what it's done is it has taken the housing, the 15% out of the salary. It has basically just reduced the salary. With this option, what you would need to do now is to go to your pay types, take your housing, make it computed, and then come to auto transactions, add a line. So we say housing, then we say basic salary, and you can say 15%, and you could even give a higher percentage, and let's put 9999999. I think that's good enough. Tick apply, click other line to save it, click this, double click, make sure you're in the current month, make sure you select here housing allowance, then you can say add all employees. So it will add everyone with 15%. So make sure all your people are there. So if we go back now and we process, it will add the 15% as housing. Now you have to display complete payslips to see. So now, of course, it's not perfect because, the rounding issues. So you now have your basic, the 85% of the portion. Of course, by that time you can probably remove this. You should remove that. Let's remove that from all of them. Okay, so now you have your salary, you have your 15%, and it adds up to give you your whatever it is your salary was originally. Same thing, 130 to 1 million. So that's the way to do it. You either use auto transactions or you just put a comment on the salary and say that is consolidated.